Look, this is someone who needs no introduction. You're a superstar, Grammy Award Winning artist. You're an actor now.
Yeah.
You've got your own bank. You're also one of the faces of Georgia.
Yeah.
Tell our audience, people are watching Bloomberg TV all over the world, what they need to know about your state. Because tomorrow we're going to be here talking elections, talking issues. What is it that makes Georgia special this time?
Well, I mean, Georgia has the ability to affect the election in a big way, the same way it did. And when I say affect the election, these elections are important first and foremost for Georgia. I want people to think hyper-local. Who are going to be our 2 Supreme Court justices in Georgia, our new ones? We have 2 amazing women that are running.
Yeah.
You know, how are we going to make sure we get Ossoff back in there? First 2 times, I worked like a dog on behalf of his campaign. We got him in. I had a call from him about a week and a half ago, like, hey, you know, looking forward to seeing you out there again. Warnock, who's he and Ossoff have went and done an amazing job hitting the ground. So, you know, I think we got to hit the ground. I think we got to galvanize, plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize our way to the polls. It was important then, it's important now. And ultimately, you know what I understand? We don't have to stay in a perpetual state of fear that we're going to lose it all if we lose an election or this is important. My grandmother taught me that it was a civic responsibility to vote. Miss Ellison, who was an absolute tyrant and my civics teacher, taught me to appreciate the Bill of Rights and the Constitution because I had no rights in her classroom. And she made sure that I understood that I was lucky when I got outside the classroom and to exercise those rights. So I'm always encouraged to help people get to the polls. I'm always encouraged by every election, no matter how minuscule and small it is. And I encourage people to do their research. Go on your Google while you're on your lunch break. See who's running in your district, who agrees with you. Talk to your neighbors, see who they want. And you guys, you know, make demands of the politicians that you get in office. The day after they win, they should get a note from you. These are the potholes we want filled this week.
Well, a lot of people must have been talking to their neighbors because 1 million Georgians voted early. That's a record. What do you make of that?
I'm excited, and I know that this state that has been politically active for a very long time. And I think that whether it was the wise decision of William Hartsfield to give Delta an extended contract here or the wise decision of Maynard Jackson to say, hey, our own local companies, including being black companies, can build this airport. I think those kind of local decisions have helped make us an international city. So I think that we're going to continue to do that. So go Georgia.
This is a tough time for our economy, which we talk about a lot here on Bloomberg, as you know. You and I spent a lot of time talking about the debanked last time you were on. Even if you have a bank account now, you're dealing with $4.50 gas. You're dealing with mortgage rates, a housing market that won't budge. We're seeing food prices go up now with this war underway, and I'm wondering to what extent that's impacting Atlanta as a city and decisions at the polls tomorrow.
It's impactful. Atlanta has more. I'll give you an example directly from my community. Atlanta has more black millionaires than any other city. Atlanta and D.C. are the top 2. You look at Atlanta. With that, we have the greatest wealth disparities, too, between the lowest and highest. We actually are a microcosm of America. America probably has greater economic opportunity than any other country in the world for a person that lands here on a boat 100 years ago or someone that's getting off a plane today. But with that said, we have some of the biggest disparities, and we have lack of education, lack of proper, we have food deserts, we have lack of proper health care. We can fix these things. I think that our mayor in Atlanta, Mayor Dickens, is doing an amazing job of getting people housed. I think that small businesses like the one T.I. and I have opened called Bankhead Seafood, which employs nearly 40 people, are important. We have millions of small businesses that are in this country. Everyone cannot work for large corporations. So these small and medium businesses, as FIFA comes here and World Cup is here, we're going to have those small and medium businesses, some grow. But we don't want them to go. We want them to keep people employed. So in these tough times, let's make sure we're supporting small and local, because that's who's going to keep people employed. Let's make sure that we demand more of our politicians in terms of, if you look what that mayor's done up in New York, in terms of eliminating some debt and stuff and easing some pressure off people. Let's look at those candidates who are going to do that here, and let's vote for those folks.
I love that you first reached for Supreme Court in your first answer. Because national coverage hasn't gone down to that level in most cases in Georgia, but I'm hearing more about those 2 Supreme Court seats than just about anything other than the big ones, the gubernatorial and Senate primaries. And it has a lot to do with redrawing maps. People started to really wake up to what they see as a potential opportunity here. Is that why I'm hearing so much about it?
I think
redistricting?
That is the why. That is the why. And you know what I'm encouraged by in Georgia is because although it's being discussed racially, and it does impact my community from a racial standpoint, because some places it's going to be used to deny, to break up black constituents from proper representation. But I would like to implore right now that the working class understands that the master class or the planner class in the South 400 years ago did not care about the poor workers that they were working in the fields, whether they looked like me or you. They didn't care if they were the people that were labeled rednecks that came out of the UK. They didn't care if the people they looked at that they brought from the shores of Africa. They cared about economic domination. And if you think that this is not a working class issue and it is only a racial issue, it will only be so long before you are on the chopping block and there's no one there to advocate an ally. So I would implore the working class right now to make sure that you get people in office that are going to represent for you. And I would encourage the corporate class to make sure that they're fair. Well, what you're going to see is a break in this country that we haven't seen in nearly 100 years.
Well, that's fascinating because the redrawing of congressional districts, particularly after the Supreme Court ruling on the Voting Rights Act, seemed to be distinctly racial, is it not?
Well, at that time it had to be. I'm just saying that at the time that Martin Luther King was fighting for proper workers' rights and a fair wage for black people in Mississippi, the most underpaid people and people who were resisting him the most were also white Mississippians. At the time that Colin Kaepernick, Skip Bayless did an amazing thing one time, Joe. He said there, I think it was in Pittsburgh, everyone kneeled in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick. One player didn't, I believe it was a white player. The player, of course, patriotic, believed in his country, and that was great. But the NFL is notorious for having a bully pit in terms of negotiations with the Players Association. Skip said that guy doesn't understand, and what he did, he broke solidarity and broke the ability for them to move as a unit beyond this particular issue. So I want to say that even if it feels distinctly racial, understand that if the tactics work on race based on me, it will work on class to you. So I'd say whether you're in the Appalachians or Atlanta, you had better be wary of anybody that wants to redraw.
These are incredibly important points that you're making. Will Georgia redraw? Do you think that's done?
I don't. It's something I disagree with my governor on. You know, and I think he's ruled with a pretty fair hand, and I think he's absolutely wrong on that. And I'll say that to him. I say that on national television.
Understood.
But I think it is not a wise thing to do. I think that Georgia has shown itself to be emotionally intelligent in terms of going in the voting booth. I think that our mayors in Atlanta have done a great job of working with our governors, be they Democrat or Republican, from Joe Frank Harris to Zell Miller on through to our current governor. I think that it throws the balance of Georgia off, and it makes us copy states that are not as progressive as us.
You think politics all day?
No.
Is music a hobby at this point? It's amazing to listen to you.
No, I love, so most of the day I'm thinking, oh my God, how can I make sure this restaurant doesn't cost me any more money? So I'm thinking Bankhead Seafood. I'm thinking music because I'm going to be working on Michael 2 this summer. But lately I've been thinking about acting. I've been luckily.
You sure have.
You're not the only handsome guy I get to look in his eyes and we talk. But I get to sit across from Ethan Hawke on a show called The Lowdown. And I've been brought in for season 2 on a show called Scarpetta. It's very fun working with Ethan.
Scarpetta is amazing, by the way.
Scarpetta is an amazing show.
How do you prepare for an acting role differently than you would for a musical show or to sit down and record something?
Well, music, you can record, just emotionally get it out, and then you can go back and learn the song, and you can imitate the emotion.
Interesting.
With acting, it's important that you do what you do in kindergarten, repetition. Let me learn these words. I have to say my ABCs perfectly, or my mom
I have a horrible
won't let me
memory. I could never do this.
So your ABC, your mom won't let you go outside until you say all your ABCs,
Exactly.
And you have to treat yourself like that. I see why actors and writers have to get along, because you get there in solitude, and then you got a good reading partner. I have a filmmaker friend whose name is Michael Allen, and he reads with me. I have friends in the industry that give me good advice. So I think, more than anything, kindergarten taught you repetition,
how about that?
And once you learn it, put some emotion.
Repetition indeed, but everything we're talking about is a creative exercise that you're involved in. And there are big questions about the way AI is about to change or is already changing this. Whether you're a visual artist, a musician, I was talking to Chuck Lavelle about this a little bit earlier. You could listen to AI music that's not even made by a person anymore. Is that a good or a bad thing?
Well, I know a producer sent me a track last night that I ended up getting on. It's an amazing track. He said I couldn't wait for a singer to sing it, so I sang it myself and made AI fix my voice.
Wow.
Oh man, he sounded amazing. I'll never let him sing it live. We're going to go find a real singer to sing it. But it enabled him to get his idea out. And what I found with technology, and it's interesting because I was just told by the president of Georgia Tech that they're actually bringing a program that teaches technology through creativity. You're going to be able to learn music, but at the same time be learning coding. I think that's absolutely genius. And shouts out to my friend from childhood, Raheem Biya, who's a professor emeritus over here. But what happens is, I think that AI is going to give musicians and artists the ability to have another tool to use their imagination with. I can imagine a sketch before I draw it, but the ability to use AI to say, do the sketch and then I'll draw, might work, might help.
That's important, though. So it would augment your work, not replace you as the artist.
I think the possibility there if we take advantage of it.
If we do it right.
If we do it right.
Yeah.
You don't do some wrong before you do it right.
You playing with AI? Is this part of your world? You
Man,
got Claude, you got Gemini?
I am as ignorant as can be. I know as much about as AI as my grandpa knew about an iPhone.
Well, listen, maybe we'll learn together then.
Absolutely.
It means a lot to us that you came all the way here to see us.
It means a lot.
I appreciate having you on Bloomberg. I'm very happy for your success, and I'm looking forward to the next show.
I'm looking forward to seeing you at Bankhead Seafood for a big fish sandwich.
Let's go do that. Absolutely.
Yes,
Can I be there tonight?
Come on.